Hi, everyone. Join me today as we walk around the Woods Mill Cemetery. The Woods Mill Cemetery is now located on the Fort Drum military installation as part of our main impact area. It is only accessible Memorial Day and some Labor Days. This coming Memorial Day in 2020, we are going to be open from 9 till 5 p.m. for what we call quiet hours, where training will cease so people can access the cemeteries across Fort Drum, including our Woods Mill Cemetery. Join me as we walk around. As we approach the Randall Monument, I just wanted to read an excerpt from New York's North Country and the Civil War, Soldiers, Civilians, and Legacies. It's by Dave Shampine. The scene may have looked like this. An 18-year-old Union soldier sits on the wreckage of the Battle of Fredericksburg, Virginia, with tears welling in his eyes, writing the crushing news to his mother back in Jefferson County. Both his father and brother are dead. The writer was Nelson Randall. Both John Z. Randall, 47, and Artemus A. Randall, 20, had been felled by a Confederate-fired shell, the same shell, in fact. The war between the states was in its 20th month when President Abraham Lincoln's army suffered a convincing and discouraging defeat on December 13, 1862, at Fredericksburg. The battle left behind many weeping widows and mothers, and among them was 38-year-old Elamina Randall of Woods Mill in the town of Wilna. With 3 men in her family gone to war, 2 of them now dead, she was managing her family farm and tending to her 13 and 3-year-old daughters. There is little record to be found of Mrs. Randall, but county census records indicate that she must have stood strong despite all her losses. After the attack on April 12, 1861 of Fort Sumter, 3 days later, President Lincoln issued a call to loyal states for troops. Loyalists in the northern New York North Country were quick to respond. Just 1 month later, the 35th New York Volunteer Infantry Regiment was formed and filled from companies of the new regiment from Watertown, Copenhagen, Adams, Redwood, Brownville, and Theresa, where Company C was found and where Woods Mills Randalls joined. It was then on September 27th that Nelson, then 17, committed himself also to the cause in Theresa. 2 days later, Artemus followed him, and by then the regiment had gone to Washington and was joining the Army of the Potomac. General Burnside wrote of the Battle of Fredericksburg about the 25th. Scarcely any anxiety was manifested. So interested and invested was everyone upon obeying orders and remaining firm in their places. When shells burst on Company A and Company C, the men nearest the unfortunate only turned their heads to behold the fate of their companions and fought on. At 3 p.m. that on the day of the battle, the 35th were ordered to lie down to try to avoid the continuing barrage of Confederate shells. Nelson Randall noted in his letter home, which was published in the Carthage Republican, while lying there, a shell struck John Z. Randall on the left shoulder and tore his body asunder, killing him instantly. The same shell struck his son Artemus and carried away his right leg at the knee and tore the flesh from the left above the knee. Artemus Randall died the next day of his injuries. The Randall father and son were giving temporary battlefield burials, and their remains later returned home. Where exactly is a bit of a historic puzzle. There's monuments standing for them at the Sandy Hollow Cemetery in Philadelphia and in the Woods Mill Cemetery, now part of Fort Drum. Fort Drum and the 10th Mountain Division continue to remember the sacrifices by the Randalls and the over 100 veterans buried in our 13 cemeteries across the Fort Drum military installation. We hope you get to visit this Memorial Day. Hi everyone. Once again, I just want to show you how to find the information for the Woods Mill Cemetery. You'll go to fortdrum.isportsman.net, and in the right lower hand corner, you'll see Outreach Special Events. This will take you to a drop-down menu for cemetery visits. Here you'll have all of our pertinent information. Map of the cemeteries, driving directions to the cemeteries, the 1941 tax acquisition map. You'll scroll further down to cemeteries on Fort Drum. And the very last one will take you to the Woods Mill Cemetery. Again, the driving directions are here, as well as our lat longitude in case you want to use your GPS unit in a car or on your phone. And then you'll click on the Woods Mill Cemetery. So once you open up that PDF of the Woods Mill Cemetery, it will take you to all the pertinent pages for that. Again, you may not want to print this entirety of the document because it is 582 pages. I would do a page select to print if you were looking for just the stones that you were selecting for your interests. Hope you enjoyed today's Woods Mill visit, and I'll link all the appropriate things in the box below. Please like and subscribe.